My child, that feeling you keep pushing away, it is not random. You have felt it more than once, in quiet moments, in sudden thoughts, in times when everything seemed normal, but something inside you didn't feel right. And each time, you told yourself it would pass. You distracted yourself. You moved on. But it keeps coming back, stronger, clearer, harder to ignore. My child, this is not something to overlook again, because this feeling is trying to tell you something. And if you miss it again, you will stay in the same place you've been trying to leave. So stay here, because what I'm about to show you is the reason it hasn't left you.
My child, this feeling you keep experiencing, it is not confusion. It is awareness trying to reach you. But you have been turning away from it, not because you don't notice it, but because you don't fully understand it. So you keep moving. You keep doing what feels normal. You keep telling yourself everything is fine. But deep down, something doesn't settle. And that is where this feeling begins. Not on the surface, but underneath your choices. My child, you have been following a path that looks right, but something within it is not aligned. And you can feel that, even if you cannot explain it. That is why it keeps returning, because it is connected to something you have not faced yet. Something small enough to overlook, but important enough to affect everything. And until you see it clearly, this feeling will not leave you, my child. You have been trying to silence this feeling instead of listening to it. You keep filling your time. You keep distracting your thoughts. You keep telling yourself it's nothing. But if it was nothing, it would not return the way it does. Again and again and again. My child, this feeling is connected to something you already saw. A moment, a realization, a truth that came to you quietly, but clearly. And in that moment, you understood it, but you didn't stay with it. You stepped away. You told yourself you would deal with it later. And since then, you have been moving forward, Cabo, while leaving that moment unfinished behind you. That is why it follows you. That is why it doesn't fade. Because it was never meant to be ignored. It was meant to be faced. My child, this is where you must be honest with yourself. Because you already know what this is about. You felt it clearly the first time it came to you. That moment when everything inside you paused, and something became undeniable. Not loud, not forced, but true. And instead of staying with it, you moved away. You told yourself it was not the right time. You told yourself you needed to think more. You told yourself you would come back to it later. But later never came. And now that same truth is returning to you again. Not to confuse you, but to remind you, my child. What you are feeling is not uncertainty. It is clarity you have been avoiding. And the longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes. Not to burden you, but to bring you back to it. My child, this is the moment where you stop pushing it aside. You have seen it more than once. You have felt it more than once. You cannot say you don't know. So now, the question is not, what is this? The question is, will I finally face it? Because this is where everything begins to shift. Not later. Not when you feel more ready. But here, in this exact moment. Every time you delay this, you move further from the clarity you've been asking for. Every time you ignore it, you stay in the same cycle you've been trying to break. My child, this is why the feeling has not left you, because it is waiting for your response, not your thoughts, not your analysis, but your decision. And this time, do not turn away from it again. My child, the moment you stop avoiding it, everything begins to change, not because something new appears, but because you are finally facing what was already there, and that brings movement. You are no longer going in circles. You are no longer stepping around the same place again and again. You are moving through it, and that is what begins to break the cycle. My child, this is what you have been missing. Not opportunity, not timing, but the moment where you choose to respond. Because the feeling was never there to confuse you. It was there to guide you, to bring your attention back to something that needed to be faced. And now that you are facing it, you will begin to notice something. That heaviness you carried starts to lift. That confusion you felt begins to clear, not instantly, but enough for you to see that you are no longer stuck in the same place. And that is where everything starts to move forward. My child, now that you have faced it, you will begin to notice a shift within you. Not just relief, but direction. You are no longer questioning everything the same way. You are no longer searching without clarity, because you have moved past the place that was holding you back. And that creates momentum. At first, it feels small, but with each step you take, it becomes stronger. You begin to move with more certainty. You begin to trust what you feel, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer ignoring what matters. My child, this is how clarity grows, not from waiting, but from responding. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see connections you couldn't see before. You will understand why things felt the way they did, and you will realize that the feeling you once tried to avoid was leading you exactly here. My child, as you continue in this direction, you will begin to feel a calm returning to you, not because everything around you has changed, but because something within you has settled. You are no longer divided. You are no longer moving one way while feeling another. You are aligned, and that alignment brings peace. A quiet peace, a steady peace, the kind that does not come from outside, but from knowing you are no longer avoiding the truth. My child, this is what you were searching for without realizing it. Not more answers, not more signs, but the moment where everything inside you becomes clear. And now, you are no longer questioning the same way. You are no longer chasing something you cannot explain, because you have already faced what needed your attention. And from this place, your path becomes steady. Your steps become certain, because now you are moving with clarity, not against it. My child, now that you understand this, do not go back to ignoring it again. Do not return to the same pattern. Do not tell yourself later, because you already know where that leads. That feeling returns. That uncertainty comes back, not to confuse you, but to remind you of what you left unfinished. But now, you don't need that reminder anymore, because you have seen it, you have faced it, and you have moved through it. My child, this is where things begin to change. Not in some distant moment, but in the choice you make from here. Because now, you are not walking blindly. You are moving with awareness, with clarity, with understanding. And that is what brings everything into place. So do not turn away from it again, because this time, you are ready. End.